All right, in this video, I'm literally going to prompt ChatGPT and I'm going to have it generate the top 30 real estate agent objections that exist in 2025 from sellers to buyers. I'm going to handle every single objection A through Z, and I'm going to give you guys some context behind why I'm saying what I'm saying. Let's dive right into it. Ready? Let's go ahead here and say, all right, ChatGPT, I'm filming a YouTube video for my beautiful audience and they want to become absolute assassins at objection handling. These are real estate agents that are hungry to take over and make six figures. I need you to give me the top 30 most difficult objections that a residential real estate agent will get, whether it's from a seller, a buyer, a for sale by owner, an expired, a hesitant home buyer. Give me the top 30 hardest objections possible under the sun. Let's go. All right, GPT is going to create this list and I'm just going to rip through these one by one. In other videos, I'll give you guys actual context on objection handling and the basis behind it. There's so many different things that I have to share when it comes to objections, but in this video, I want to rapid fire give you guys my actual responses to these objections. That way you guys can just go ahead and copy, paste them, optimize them, and make them your own, okay? Number one, we already have a realtor and we're staying with them. Look, John, I completely respect the fact that you already have an agent. At the end of the day, I get the feeling that overall, what you're trying to accomplish when you do sell this home is just netting the most amount of money, correct? John's obviously going to say yes. And I'll say this, look, John, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I'm sure that your agent is more than capable to getting you guys the result that you guys want. Just out of curiosity, if you did happen to meet with another agent and after meeting with that agent, you actually felt 100% confident that their plan and strategy was going to get you and your family a significantly better result in this transaction, is meeting with them an idea you'd be completely against, just to see if that were even a possibility? That's number one. We knocked that out of the park. Number two, this is very, very common. Our close friend or family is an agent. We promise them, hey, look, John, I totally respect that. And again, I get the idea that your goal here in this transaction is more importantly, not necessarily working with an agent or saving on commissions, but from what you're telling me, I kind of get the feeling that your main priority is to net the most amount of money, right? And notice, guys, going back to, I'm going to break this down real quick because this is very important and you'll see me do this throughout all the objections. When you're selling a home or when you're buying a property, most of the time, 95% of the time, the main goal is financial. I want to sell my home for the most amount of money, or I want to buy a home and get the best deal. So whenever you get an objection, like for example, I'll break this one down real quick. Our close friend or family is an agent, right? Number one, when you're a for sale by owner and you say that, if that other agent, I need you guys to think about this, if that other agent were truly such a good choice to work and list their property, they would have worked with them in the first place. Like if my cousin or my sister-in-law was a badass realtor, like an award-winning top producing realtor, she would have sat down with me and said, going for sale by owner is the absolute worst thing you can ever do. Let me sell your home, here's why. So if they're FSBO and they're saying that we already have somebody in the family that we do it with, understand that that person's not even good enough in the first place. But you'll say something like this, look, hey, Alexis, we already have a family friend, remember, that we want to work with. John, listen, not a problem. I totally respect that. Again, I know I'm calling you out of the blue here. I get the feeling that your number one priority, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, your number one priority here is to sell the property for the most amount of money, correct? Just out of curiosity, this is like version number one. Just out of curiosity, John, I mean, obviously you're a smart person. How come you guys didn't just work with them in the first place? They'll tell you, well, because we wanted to try it on our own, or, oh, well, because of XYZ, and you'll likely be able to debunk the objection just with that. Or you can say, look, John, I respect the fact that you already have somebody in mind. It tells me that you're preparing for a worst case scenario. To be honest, I think you can get this home sold on your own, no problem. I guess my question to you is, John, since you're so committed to the actual financial result in selling the home for the most amount of money, that's called an identity label, by the way, right? Since you're so committed to netting the most amount of money, are you completely closed off to a second opinion that can bring you more money? Is that an idea that you're completely closed off to? That is a great way to handle that objection, right? Let's run it one more time. Hey, Alexis, we have a family friend in mind. John, not a problem. I completely respect that. I only get the feeling that what you're trying to do here is if you do sell the home, you're trying to sell it for the most amount of money, right? Yes, I'm trying to sell it for the most amount of money. And John, listen, I know that you already have somebody in mind. I respect that. Out of curiosity, I'm assuming the answer is already no, but you're completely against a second opinion. Even if it meant getting significantly more money, you're going to work with your family member anyways, right? That's called a negative identity label. You're labeling them as somebody that is not open-minded. People don't like that. They're going to correct you and say, I'm open-minded. I wouldn't be against a second opinion, especially if it led to more money. That's number two. Number three, if you cut your commission to 1%, we can talk. Hey, look, that's fair, John. I respect the fact that you're obviously even having these conversations with agents. From what I'm gathering, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, your main objective in this transaction is to sell the property for the most amount of money, correct? So just out of curiosity, let's imagine that you met with an agent and one agent actually sat down with you and showed you a plan that was 5 to 6% commission, but that plan was going to guarantee you a significantly higher financial result overall. Are you saying right now that you'd still go ahead with the agent that was going to charge you 1% just to pay less commission? Or are you wanting overall, when it's all said and done, having the most amount of money sent to your bank account? What's more important to you? That is an obvious question, but when you structure and phrase it like that, the commission comes out of the picture. Think about this, guys. Objection handling, and what you're noticing in this video, objection handling, all it is getting what the prospect said, reframing it in a positive way that correlates with their result. The prospect said, if you cut your commission to 1%, we can talk. I said, John, what you mean is you're trying to put yourself and the property in a position to make the most amount of money, correct? Yes. Because at the end of the day, if there's two offers on the table and one has 6% and one has 1%, but the one that has 6% commission is a better buyer with better terms and more money at the end of the day, the seller's obviously going to take this offer. But in their mind, that doesn't exist. But remember, when you're on a call, all these objections are objections you get on a phone call. When you're on a call, all you're trying to do is sell the conversation, not the listing. You're trying to get them to meet you in person. So they'll say, if you cut your commission to 1%, we can talk. John, that's fair. I totally understand the fact that you're trying to save on commissions. I get the feeling, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, your main objective and goal in this transaction is to sell the home for the most amount of money. Correct? Are you open-minded to seeing what other strategies are out there to be able to help you get that most amount of money? At the end of the day, listen, John, at the end of the day, I'm not going to make not even 0.1% if I can't prove to you that I can sell your home for more money. Would you agree? Of course we'd agree. Appointment set. Boom. Let's go here. Number 5. I want to skip number 4. Bring a buyer and we'll talk. We're not signing a listing. Hey, look, John, that's totally fair. I get the feeling that obviously you guys want to put yourselves in a position where you're not tied down or committed to an agent that's not going to get you the best financial result. And more importantly, I feel like you guys want to make sure you put yourselves in that spot to get the best financial result. Correct? Correct. They're going to say yes. I literally just reframed it to think about the positive result that they want to have. Right? But they're saying bring a buyer and we'll talk. At the end of the day, John, in order for me to bring a buyer, I need to better understand the property. I need to better understand your goals. Would it be a horrible idea if I passed by the property, sat down, and had a conversation with you to show you what I've done for other homeowners in the past to see whether or not that's even a possibility for you? Pause. At the end of the day, John, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you are not going to do anything that doesn't make sense for you or for the property, correct? Of course I'm not. So if at any point during that conversation, John, you feel like what I'm sharing with you and the details I'm giving you are not going to help you get the result you're looking for, you wouldn't have a problem telling me, correct? Of course not. That is exactly how to handle that objection. You're making them feel comfortable and you're asking them for an opportunity. Number 6, we're selling it ourselves to save the fee. Hey, look, John, that's totally fair. I'm looking at the property here on 5th Street. It looks like a beautiful home. And I don't blame you guys for wanting to put the most amount of money in your pocket. Out of curiosity, is that the main goal, or is there an alternative reason why you guys are preventing working with an agent? No, it's just the money. We want to make the most amount of money. Great. So John, let me ask you this, and listen, I want to share this with you first. I think you can get the property sold on your own, and I don't blame you for not wanting to work with an agent. Out of curiosity, if there were a way, not if I could, because a lot of people say, if I could show you a way. No, you'll say, if there were a way where you could actually meet with an agent, create a plan and a strategy, and after the commissions, after the closing costs, and even after signing a flexible contract with that agent that didn't tie you down, you felt like you were able to get a significantly better financial result. Is that an idea you'd be completely against just having a conversation about? If you use this the right way, they're likely going to say, no, of course not. Let's keep going. Number 7, we want to list $50,000 over comps to test the market. I'll say this real quick before I handle this objection. We are always selectively prospecting. We are always only looking for people that we want to do business with. We get to choose our clients. So if someone's not serious, if someone's just testing the market, respectfully, I don't want your business. I don't need your business. I want to spend my time finding people that need to sell, need to buy. That way I can service them right now. So very simple. They'll say, we want to list $50K over comps to test the market. John, I totally respect that. This is your property. This is your equity. You've put in the hard work to pay the mortgage every single month for the last 7 years. I respect the fact that you want to list a property $50,000 over the comps. I have a question though. Is your main goal, if you do end up selling this property, because it sounds like you're not in a rush, is your main goal to sell it for the most amount of money? Yes. They're obviously going to say yes. John, let me ask you this. Are you open to the idea of pricing this property correctly in order to generate the most amount of buyers, the most amount of showings, and the most amount of offers? Or are you in a position where you just want to test the market, even if it means selling the home for less money? Even if it means selling the home for less money. Very important that you precisely communicate that. Because they'll say one of two things. Well, we don't want to sell it for less money. We have to make the most amount of money because of X, Y, Z. Or they'll say, if we don't sell it, if we don't get what we want at that 50K over comps, we're just not going to sell it. Great, perfect, John. Maybe I can help you rent it, etc. Or maybe there's another realtor that's good for you. If there's no real motivation to sell, you do not have to take that listing. When someone tells you we want to list 50K over comps to test the market, you can also say this. John, out of curiosity, obviously your goal is to sell it for the most amount of money. Show them why listing at 50K over comps is not going to get them the most amount of money, and say, John, you guys haven't just thought about holding on to it and renting it? And when you say that, it goes against your own interest. You're speaking against your own interest as a realtor, and they might tell you, we've thought about that, but we actually need to sell it because of X, Y, Z. And they'll give you the real motivation. All right, let's just start ripping through these. We need to net X after everything, or we're not selling. This is another one of those motivation deals. John, at the end of the day, I completely respect the fact that you don't have to sell. It's actually a good position to be in. Out of curiosity, if you were to test the market, you obviously want to test it in a way that's going to give you the most amount of buyers, the most amount of showings, and the most amount of offers, correct? Fair. Is it okay if I show you exactly how we've done that for our past clients? And if you feel like you disagree with that strategy, you can just go ahead and let me know. Cool? Guys, at the end of the day, like that's not really an objection, because you're telling me that you're not super motivated to sell the property, and I only get hired when I was in production. And if you guys are looking to list homes, you should only be telling your sellers that you want to get hired when their goal is to make the absolute most amount of money. I don't want to work for people that just want to get a mediocre result or that are not 100% serious about selling. One here says, let's wait until spring and summer, better time to sell. I'm not, by the way, objections when it comes to timeline, I'm not here to pressure people. I'm not here to convince people. I'm looking for people that need to sell. So I'll say something like this. Hey, look, John, I totally respect the fact that, let's say it's winter. I totally respect the fact that you want to wait until spring and summer. Just out of curiosity, if a strong offer were to come across the table now, is that even something you'd entertain? Or is there something logistically that you have to wait to happen until spring or summer? Depending on their answer, let's say they say, well, I mean, if the offer was good enough, we could do it now. Boom, close. Or they'll say, well, we need to wait logistically for A, B, or C. Then you can propose either a flexible close, a post-occupancy, something cool to get the process started sooner. Or you can just say, okay, great. When do you want me to touch base with you? On to the next prospect that wants to sell sooner, okay? We used an agent before and it didn't work. We're done. Hey, look, John, I completely respect that. And I hear you. 95% of the colleagues that I've worked with were an absolutely miserable experience to work with. I get the feeling that what you want to do is make sure you position this property in a way where you and your family are protecting your equity and you're going to sell the home for the most amount of money, correct? That's going to bring their guard down, especially if you say it with that tone. They'll say, yes, of course we want to make the most amount of money. And look, John, again, I hear you. I know that most agents that you've spoken to or the ones that you've worked with have demonstrated that they're not equipped to help you sell the home for the most amount of money. Would it be the worst idea if we sat down, I took a look at the property and showed you what I've done for homeowners in the past, just to see if anything would make sense? In the worst case scenario, you guys could take all the information I shared and use it on your own. Does that sound like a bad idea? No, of course not. Hey, Mr. Agent, what makes you different? Look, Mr. John, I really like this one. If I sat on the phone for the next 5 minutes and told you about everything that makes me different, would you believe me? Probably not, right? At the end of the day, John, you're not going to work with an agent because of who they work with, what their track record is. You're going to work with an agent because of what they can show you they can actually do for you and your property, correct? Correct. So even if I sat on the phone and told you what makes me different or told you my plan, you're not going to hire an agent unless you meet them in person, shake their hand, and hear what they have to say, correct? Set the appointment. Boom. We're going to knock out a few more of these, but I wanted to keep this under 20 minutes. Just text me the info. We're not meeting right now. Hey, look, Mr. Seller, I completely understand the fact that you're getting overwhelmed with all these calls and you'd prefer an email. Can I ask you one more question? Yes. If you were to ever even hire an agent, because I think you can sell the home on your own, to be honest, but if you were to go down the route of hiring an agent, would you agree that you want an agent that can represent yourself, represent the home, and make sure they can net you as much money as possible? Correct? Yeah, of course. Would you agree that in order for that to happen, that agent has to be a strong negotiator? You'd agree, right? Yes, of course. So every other agent that you said, just text me the info to, they've just said, okay, perfect. I'll send you my contact info and I'll send you an email with my resume. Boom, done. Has that agent demonstrated to you their ability to negotiate? And number two, their passion to serve you? Yes or no? And listen, Mr. Seller, I know I might come off aggressive. I know I might come off intense. The reason why my sellers hire me is because of my persistence and my ability to negotiate on their behalf. So by all means, Mr. Seller, if you want to hang up and this is too high pressure for you or too intense, I completely understand. I'm looking at your property over here on 5th Street. I do think you can sell it on your own, but I do believe from the bottom of my heart that there is a better avenue, a better strategy to sell this home for the most amount of money. So here's what I'll propose. Instead of texting you or emailing you the information and having that information get lost, why don't I pass by on Friday or Saturday for 15 or 20 minutes, show you what I have to offer. If at any point during that meeting, Mr. Seller, you feel like my information is not going to help you get to ABC, your goal, you can just let me know. Does that sound fair? That sounds fair. Close the appointment. Let's do a couple more here. We think the market's going to crash, bad time to buy, bad time to sell. Mr. Seller, look, I completely hear you. I respect the fact that you think the market's going to crash. If I were to tell you the market wasn't going to crash, I'd be lying to you. I don't have a crystal ball. But what I do know how to do is position homes in the current market and sell them for the most amount of money. If I could show you a way to position this home and net the absolute most amount of money possible, is that an idea that you're against exploring? Or are you just going to completely stay on the sidelines for now? Guys, to be honest, this one's so important because, like I said earlier in the video, we're not here to convince people to do anything they don't want to do. We're here to give information and persuade them to do what's right for them and their family. Okay, I'm not going to go on a rant about this, but the reason why you're a realtor, the reason why I'm a coach, and the reason why I'm making this video is to serve you guys. I'm not getting paid directly right now to make this video. Is it going to help my business grow? Or some of you guys are going to book a call? Are we going to onboard you guys, some of you guys as students? Of course. But the purpose of this video is to serve. The purpose of every phone call that you get on with a seller, a buyer, a renter is to serve them. If you truly want to go grow a business that's going to last forever and you're never going to be out of money and you're always going to be working and being successful, you need to lead by the principle of serving. Okay, I'm gonna cut the video here, guys. I'll make another video in the future. I just didn't want to make this video super long. I'll make another video in the future ranting about more objections, and I'll make a video going deeper on the actual psychology behind objection handling. I hope this video was powerful, informational for you guys, and that you guys are gonna draw some value from it. If you guys want to have a conversation directly with me for free, I offer anybody on my YouTube channel a free strategy session. All you have to do is click the link below, apply, we'll get on a call. I'll walk you through a few different strategies that can help you in your specific situation. If you guys want extended scripts and trainings that are not on YouTube, click the link below and join my free school community. If you guys have not yet, subscribe. I put out videos every single week, giving you guys as much free game so you guys can crush the real estate market. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Alexis Valladares for you. See you guys in the next one. Let's go.